Dell noticed that every time I was traveling to different places around the world, going to England and getting excited and took a picture at a data center and say, hey, here's a terabyte drive, here's the Dell servers, my Dell rep had wallpapered his cube with pictures of me giving a thumbs up at every data center I went to. That social network paved the way towards custom position with a Fortune 50. At Dell, I drove over $25 million annually. Yes, that's millions a month. Some of the methods I used to move millions a month with Dell included social media. Now, when I was with Dell, social media was not as much of a mainstream tool. It was something that was almost shied from. And how I used it was a little bit different. Even just using a basic network such as LinkedIn gave me insight into my prospects. It gave me an understanding of who they trusted. It allowed me to see who they already formed relationships with, perhaps their former employers, and allowed me to look at the psychology of social media and find ways I can best connect with them. I own my own corporation that deals with virtual properties and websites, and I am the founder and managing partner with Regillo Consulting Group. I bring 2 decades of professional sales experience. There's a lot of benefits to social marketing. People are looking at social as the fact it's the single most powerful way they have found with a low ROI to generate exposure to their business. It's expected these days. It is almost just unheard of that you're going to walk into a company and do business with them and they don't have a web presence. New business partnerships? Are you kidding me? My reach has grown exponentially with social media. The new tools out there are absolutely incredible. The ability to translate to people around the globe and to be able to extract and drill information and find out what you need to succeed in business is here like never before. I know that our site has risen quite a bit in the search rankings, and a lot of it came directly from our Facebook fan page, our Twitter account. Qualified leads, by all means. People who come to us have already seen what we could do. I'd never have a cold call anymore. People know exactly what we bring to market. Closing business? Without a doubt. Now, there's a social media adoption curve that we're seeing today where it's almost a one-way and a two-way mind shift. When people first begin putting their business into social media, it's almost this one-way broadcast. I'm on my pedestal, I'm on my soapbox, I'm going to announce my business. It starts off like this. What is a social network? Oh, we need to use a social network. Let's take a look at what others are doing. Then they get to the broadcast. Hi, I sell this. Hi, my business does this. Hi, this is what we bring. And that's good, it's a start. But it misses out on the whole value of the word social in social networking. They're not engaging, they're billboarding, they're posting, they're talking. At that point, people begin to engage in a two-way dialogue. They start to reach out. They may even start to listen. They may say, well, wait a second. This is an opportunity for us to foster our human relationship outside of this network. I feel better after knowing you. And then they start to actually grow these relationships, have discussion, and have conversation. Quite simply, the final step with social media is this true community building. One thing to build followers and another to build a following. Now, once you have this community together, you're able to actually create more value than anyone could previously with traditional marketing methods. We have collaboration. It becomes selfless. You're allowed to give. And by giving, you will get back. How do I help my business? And the methodology that we'll be talking about the rest of this presentation is help. Humanize, engage, listen, and promote. These are the 4 most valuable things that you can take back to your business with social media. Now, when I think humanizing, I love this slide here. I borrowed this cartoon because it just really spoke to me. It says if you talk to people the way advertising talk to people, they slap you in the face. And I really feel that way sometimes. You're driving down the road and you got a billboard, buy this. Or you got a thing that comes on TV, you have to have this. You're probably feeling bad if you don't have this. Wow, that's not how we deal with each other, is it? Somebody came up to me and shouted in my face and told me what to buy, I'd be a little bit offended. It really gets into understanding your customers' needs. And all customers are going to have different needs. The key is to understand, how do you reach out to your audience? How do you understand who your audience is? And what do you effectively put together to be able to promote your business as well as understand their needs? And there's so many different outlets. But then you take a look at the home marketing. Are you going to market through traditional methodologies as well as you having your evangelist marketers? Are you going to be setting up some forums like a Yahoo group to answer questions, or maybe a Ning format's best for your business? Sometimes it comes down to simply listening and engaging. Now, we talk about engaging. I like to use the hand analogy. We're reaching out and engaging with others. Traditionally, I would have a customer service department that was behind the walls and the confines of my corporation. I would control the employees and what they said on the phones. They might be recorded for us to play back later. At no point would we ever take those recordings and put them out to the public. And then what happens? I called such and such company and they treated me poorly. Really? Well, when this happens in new media and you hear something like that and they say, hey, I reached out to such and such company and they treated me poorly, we now have the audience that says, you know what, I saw that happen on Twitter. They didn't treat me poorly. They treat you with respect. In this case, transparency can actually help your business. And those companies that say, I'm keeping this close, I don't want my employees to tweet or to Facebook or to blog, they're missing out, really missing out. You can overcome your competitors' flaws. One of the things that we'll talk about in the section on listening is the ability to put a flag up that says, anytime I hear this word, anywhere in the blogosphere, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or MySpace or some Technorati blog, I want to know about this. Anytime I hear Regillo, send me an email. Anytime I hear Darren Williger, I want to get a message on my phone. I need to know people are talking about me. Is this narcissistic? No, this is brand management, guys. The biggest thing I like to point out when getting into social media is truly defining your goals. I find a lot of companies begin by saying, you know, we got to get in social media. Without a clear direction for what you're looking to achieve, you could be on a million different sites, but you're not going to get to your destination. And the magic is social media works at so many different levels. I often think of a top-down methodology. How is this going to work for the executive team? Well, the executive team, they may want the opportunity to reach out professionally. They may want to have the opportunity to engage at a different level. They may have a different perspective than marketing has. I know traditional sales and marketing models, although they should be collaborative, often are going head-to-head. You look at marketing. He says, I need channels to place our content and build traffic. Well, that may not be a blog place. That's more suitable for the news feed. Maybe Stumble Upon even. Maybe something where you can put out your links. Digs, Reddits, there's dozens of these sites. What about PR? We want to know what people are saying about our services. We want to listen. And in that case, they're going to find comments. They're going to go through, they're going to have feeds, they're going to have Google alerts, and they're going to have other ways that they're going to find out what people are saying about that brand. Sales and HR, you know what? I heard recently that Best Buy put a new prerequisite on their job application that you must have 250 friends on Twitter. I'm not certain the reason behind it. I assume perhaps it's their way of saying, we embrace this new way of communication and we hope that our employees do too. We want you to at least know about it. From an HR perspective, there are sites now that do aggregate polls off of multiple sites. Spokio is one that I enjoy using. I can go to Spokio and put in your email address and it'll pull information that you may or may not have shared publicly. This is incredible. If I'm going to hire an employee, and if I find somebody has an exciting lifestyle, they like to go out, they like to drink, they like to do whatever, that's fine, you're social. But when you take pictures of yourself falling down and putting it on your MySpace, you just lost the opportunity to work for our firm. It's a chance to do things a little different from the HR perspective. From sales, I'm going to save that part to the end, as that's what I love. I love selling, and social media and sales has really not been tapped. It's something we do different. There's a lot of marketing and PR firms that are grabbing social media. And it makes sense. Traditionally, it's been a marketing vehicle. Myself, I like to work with companies, work with their sales teams, and create a positive force out in the field that continuously drives revenue? It comes down to one simple fact. What are you looking to do? Once you have that, we could write a roadmap and work from it. But I think the most important part of any business is truly the ability to listen. We can't be everywhere at once. We can't hear everything people are saying about our brand. With social media, we certainly can. With social media, I can pull from multiple networks of networks. I can pull this feed in and say, wait a second, is this guy talking positively about my brand? Is this guy talking negatively, and why? And maybe the guy talking negatively is actually helping the brand because of how he's talking. Maybe he's pointing out something that could be fixed. Maybe the evangelist is somebody I want to get to know better. Are there ways I can improve my products or services? Well, guess what, guys? Nobody's shy in the social scene. It's almost encouraged that if somebody steps up and says, hey, you're doing this the way that we don't like, somebody else will step up and say, yeah, and here's a way you could do it better. I've seen many case studies online where companies began with one goal, bulldozed the internet with their vision, and then later dialed back when they listened to people. And that's powerful. What can you offer? This is a chance for customers to say, you know what, I'd really like to see you guys offering this as well. And I like that you're bringing me A, B, and C, but what about X, Y, Z? Let's talk about promotion. I have a feeling that's what a lot of people are wondering about how to do properly on the internet. This is powerful, guys. This is incredibly powerful. Social media capital. If you walked into a store and you blew all your money, well, that's okay. They may give you a store credit card, but you may exhaust that one too. And in social, it is an incredible value once you have social currency. Right here, less paid media, more earned media. The reason for this is, you know what? The systems could be gamed. Belkin's been busted paying off people on Amazon to write positive reviews on one of the routers that was getting some bad press. It's time to be transparent. It's time to be real. It's time to engage. Does it matter that they did that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to take a lot of time to clean that up. But at the end of the day, if somebody won my attention or my respect because of how they handled things, I'm going to feel different about that brand. And there's something about that. When you have that reach out, I like to think even about brand protection in companies that if I even put out a word, and I'm careful about what brand names I mention on Twitter, but I'm almost comfortable and confident in the fact that if I put out a company name, somebody should be listening. Because I know that if they're not, their competitors will be the first to reach out and say, maybe we can help. It really comes down to earning that credit. Earned media is the result of utility. This is using the media. It's not saying, hey, I'm a company and I have a web presence. It's about saying, I have a company and I'm going to help you. You may not be buying from me, but I see a chance to help another human being. That's where companies are able to build credibility these days, unlike ever before. There is no lower cost method out there of building your brand. Period. Go and drive down the 90 expressway and put up a big billboard ad for $6,000. You know what? I was taking the side streets. I also feel good at times when I see a company speaking my language. You may not even have to be that great or have a powerful presence on a particular site. But if I know you're there, I almost feel good. There's times where I want to buy from people because they work like I work. But the whole key that everybody needs to do to succeed in social media clearly is to define your goals. And I see a lot of people throwing darts in the dark in social media. We know we need to be social. We need to get somebody on. Go join the MySpaces and your Facebooks and the Twitters and just do it. Without a plan, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You want to enhance your presence, you want to get louder, you want to be able to reach out to people, whatever it is you do, it can be more pronounced using social media. I like having the multiple presence. I have an Identica account, the open source version of microblogging. I have several different ones. You go to darrenwilliger.com, it's this obnoxious list of the 140 sites that I'm on. Most of them I'm not active on. Who has time for that? but through proper aggregation, I can make sure that at least my tweets will show up on some sites, and perhaps a photo. You don't want to over-aggregate to the point that things are noisy, but I do recommend at least getting a presence on the top ones. I prefer Twitter to phone. I prefer Twitter to email. Email I find formal, almost cumbersome. I want to compose this to a point that I know a lawyer can comb through it and feel that I had done the blessed corporate mantra of putting it out there. Twitter forces me to be succinct, and I don't feel as formal as I do with using email. And that's just me. I prefer that. But I think that's where companies need to start to listen to their customers and say, how do you prefer to communicate? You know, back when the telephone came out, I bet there were slow adopters there too. We don't need this newfangled device. Our customers don't have telephone. Why would we have telephone? Well, because the other guy down the street has telephone. Hey, I bet that next day the guy had a big sign in his window, we have telephone. And now people are starting to put signs in their window, we have Twitter. And it may not be their window of their car or their building, it may even be on their website. We no longer have this company person. We now have that, coin Armano's phrase, the brand individual. We have that single entity that almost ties in everything. You know, I've been in sales for 20 years. I know that many times people bought from me because they believed in me and I believed in the product or the services I sold. And if I worked for another company, they may have been inclined to purchase those products or services too, knowing that they could trust me standing behind it. And the same thing rings very true with social.